Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Alexis. Hope if you're new, if you are true, welcome back. So I get a lot of questions regarding Semaglutide and Terzepatide. I have been on both. I have been on both Wegovy and Zepbound. And let me tell you, there is a big difference and I'm going to spell it out for you today. So stay tuned. Now, I have tried many weight loss things over the year. I have tried keto, low carb. I've tried fasting. I have tried every kind of fast there is, but nothing helped. So my doctor was like, you know what? We're going to try a GLP-1 drug. So I had no idea what any of this was. I was aware of Ozempic, but I had no idea what Wegovy was. And he was like, Wegovy is new. He checked my A1C and he was like, yeah, let's try this. And it was actually brand new to the point where you couldn't even get it like that. And then all of a sudden it came out and everybody got their hands on it. And it got to the point where it was always out of stock. So my insurance, of course, just would not cover it. But my doctor was able to give me a coupon for $25. So monthly medication was $25. It actually came in a pen, an actual pen, where I would just inject it and tear it up from there. Now, the titration was different compared to Zepbound. I really didn't get far with Wegovy because it made me sick. I mean, sick as in I had to pick a day to take it because I knew for like the rest of the day, I was just going to be absolutely no good. And I did this for a long time. My days was Sunday. Sundays, I know that I'm going to take my shot at night because I could sleep a lot of it off and the next day I would be okay. Now, it would also make me feel kind of wonky, and I later figured out that I would need to eat something first and then take the shot. So I could never take the shot on an empty stomach, and I couldn't really take the shot without taking in something sugary or carby, if that makes sense. So that would just help with my blood sugar, because at the time, the drug was still kind of new, and we were still just trying to figure out how to handle it and how like the side effects were, things like that. So it was still pretty new. My side effects, let's talk about that. So I didn't have as much issue when I was taking the real actual Wegovy. And I say that as in, if you haven't done your research, there is, and this is the same for Tirzepatide as well as Semaglutide. There is a regular strain and then there's a compound. Those are different, completely different. So you have to do your research. Now, Wegovy, the actual Wegovy from the pharmacy made me a little nauseous. I had to lay down. I did throw up a little bit, but it would wear off maybe in a day or two and then I was fine. Now for the compound, that's different. So compound is when you get some of these subscription services. Oh, I'm not going to name any, but you know what I mean. You get some subscription services. They don't have the actual drug. They have the compounded version. There is a big difference. Let me tell you how I know. Now, Semaglutide is it's pretty common. It's, you know, the Ozempics and the Wegovys and things like that. So this compound is kind of different. It's more unique. It's not from the manufacturer per se. It's what these subscription companies are actually creating so that they can sell their version of it. Now, I had made a video about Wegovy, and because of that, that blew up. I had a company reach out to me and they were like, hey, yeah, promote our, compound. And I didn't realize it was compound till I did my research. Like they sent me like 4 vials of it. And they're like, yeah, here's how you do the video and we'll give you the free medicine. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I'm still qualifying for it with $25, but it's always out of stock. So I'm like, okay, this sounds good. We can do this. I took 1 shot. When I say I was down for the count, I was down for the whole week. I actually was so dehydrated from just the vomiting and the diarrhea that I have issues till this day with my right kidney. Now, had I went to the hospital, they could have pumped that back up a little bit. They could have, given me something. But instead, I was just like, I'm just going to lay in the bed. I know what it is. It's the medicine. I'm going to let it wear off. And, when you take a shot like that, it is in your body for a week. So I did have issues with that. The actual Wegovy from the pharmacy, nausea here or there. I learned that I needed to eat, but the compound, that did me dirty. So fast forward to me about 10 months ago, getting on Zepbound. My doctor brought it up. He was like, well, there's this new medication called Zepbound. It's a Tirzepatide. It's different from the Semaglutide. I'm like, you know what? Time out. We're not doing that. I already still have issues with my kidney from years ago. And although my kidney comes back good when, blood work and things like that, I still feel the problems whenever I'm dehydrated or I'm not drinking enough water or I don't go to the bathroom fast enough. Like I still feel that particular kidney struggling and gasping. Okay. And he was like, well, this is a different strand. I'm like, I don't care. But he did convince me that although Zepbound was pretty new, the strain was completely different and I shouldn't have those kind of side effects. Now, mind you, that's saying something because not everybody is the same. Everyone is different and everybody does have, different side effects when it comes to these medications. But I was like, you know what? We're going to give it a shot because at this point I was huge as far as my weight. I was 200 and I counted 209 pounds, but he was like, no, you were bigger than that. Scales are different, we want to say 209. But then he did give me the prescription. So my insurance once again would not cover it. I had to actually go through Lilly Direct. Now, I was kind of disappointed because when you go through Lilly Direct, you don't actually get the pen. You get the vials. This is where you actually have to put on your thinking cap and you have to measure it because you have to measure it with the syringe. So I am always really concerned that I am over medicating. So I, of course, watched a few videos, made sure I was doing it correct because I did not want to put any more in my body than I needed. Now, the first time I took it, I was kind of bracing myself for the worst because I knew what Semaglutide did to me. So my first side effects that I noticed, honestly, was no more food noise, which was like, yes, silence. But then I was like, I'm losing weight. First week, I lost 5 pounds. I had a constipation, which, these were side effects that I can truly manage by doing other things. It wasn't like the Semaglutide where, oh my goodness, I'm in the bed and I'm throwing up and I have diarrhea and I can't keep anything down. So definitely a blessing for that. Now, all in all, I will say that when I was on Semaglutide, I was really not prepared for anything that I experienced. I wasn't prepared for me losing weight. I wasn't prepared for me changing my lifestyle. I wasn't prepared for, any of the side effects. But for Zepbound, the Terzepatide, I had braced myself. I did my research. I was smarter. I knew what to expect. Now, I will say that I would never do a Semaglutide again. You couldn't pay me to do a Semaglutide again. Oh, I just had a little pain in my kidney. I would never do a Semaglutide again. But Terzepatide, I love because the side effects were not as bad. And the side effects that I did have, I had to take some Miralax or, something like that. They were manageable, very much manageable. Now, keep in mind, like I said, if you are getting something from one of these subscription companies, you are probably getting a compound. If you're getting it from the actual manufacturer, you're getting the real deal. I know that Lilly Direct, they are trying to shut down a lot of these subscription companies that are selling the compound. So if they're not selling the real deal, I promise you it's going to affect you just a completely different way. So keep that in mind. If you are getting straight from Lilly Direct, or if you're just getting straight from the actual manufacturer, you have a better chance of succeeding and not experiencing a lot of side effects, okay? I lost the most weight with Zepbound. I lost 60 pounds. With the Semaglutide, Wegovy, thinking maybe 20 or so before I had to say I couldn't take it anymore because of the side effects. And my biggest advice, definitely talk to your doctor, and definitely do your research. And it's okay if you end up knowing way more than your doctor, okay? It is okay. Now, comment below which side you're teetering on, if you're thinking of going to semaglutide or the Terzepatide, okay? So, and if you have not watched my previous videos, like I said, you can see from my very first video where my face was huge to now that there is a difference if you're still on the fence, if you're still not sure. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I will, of course, catch you in the next one.